All right,
Okay.
we are
Give me just a
live.
second.
We're live.
All right.
We are
Give me just a
live.
second.
I
We're
turn
live. All right.
check mute on the YouTube
We're
feed.
live. Just a second. Okay. There we go.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna test something. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see that? Can you see the band on the bottom of the
Yeah.
screen? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're just gonna launch this over from the top, and then we'll get straight into it. Welcome, welcome, everyone. This is the first episode of Generally Speaking. I am Yukon. I'm joined by Mike Mitch. Tonight, we are going to discuss some current events that we feel are relatively relevant to the community in general, and some things that really just need to be fleshed out. We need to have some uh, detailed dialogue in reference to a couple of issues. This episode is entitled "Yay, Kyrie Irving and Brotherhood or Lack Thereof." Mike, I'll let you go ahead.
All right. We also want to be we this channel is all about being extremely rational and logical. And let me not forget, we're gonna be a little biased. All right. All right. So
Well,
yeah, you see
we'll
the
try and
title.
leave the bias at the door, but at the same time, like we're balanced, right? We're logical, rational thinkers. We're critical thinkers. We enjoy feedback, criticism in general. That's the only way that you can successfully or effectively get better. So, we're going to dive into a couple topics, a couple issues. Also, keep in mind, we like not necessarily need, but any interaction as far as viewers are concerned. Feel free to interact, leave comments. If you guys want to join the live, I can send a link out. We can have a friendly discussion. Also, we're gonna keep it as respectful and professional as possible. We're not here to demean anyone, talk about anyone negatively, so to speak. We may ruffle a few feathers, but we're not here to offend anyone off key. So keep that in mind, and we'll get straight into it. The first topic we're going to address is essentially, so I'll kind of give a bit of a preface here, but Kyrie Irving, and I'm sure everybody on social media has seen a little bit about it over the last couple of weeks, but Kyrie Irving made a tweet in reference to a book that was made into a film. It was called Hebrews to Negroes. Based upon the fact that he made the tweet, it didn't have any additional dialogue, no caption. It was just a picture of the documentary. The front, the cover of the documentary. Based upon that, he's received a lot of backlash from the NBA, the Jewish community as a whole. I won't say the Jewish community as a whole. I will say the Jewish elites. And there's been
The
a lot of
Untouchables.
the
The
untouchables,
Untouchables.
the
Thanks
untouchables.
to Dr. Umar Johnson, we're gonna
Yeah,
adopt the Untouchables. All
shout
right.
out Dr. Umar. But long story short, he's been suspended. There's a laundry list of items that they asked for him to complete in order for him to be reinstated. We'll get into that a little bit later. But essentially, we wanted to touch on some of the issues that have been brought to light by some of his peers and contemporaries. So getting into it, I don't know if we can. It's dangerous for us to say just because he's black, we need to support him, right? I think we have to take a look at each issue on a case by case basis. Some individuals are wrong, some individuals are somewhat wrong, and other times, they're spot on. With the information that was brought to light, to be honest, I don't feel like he did anything wrong. As far as the untouchable community, so to speak, I like how can anyone be without reproach or off limits to even have a true conversation around some we'll say and I'm trying to be careful in reference to how I word it, but we can have an open discussion where we should be able to have an open discussion in reference to certain things. If something is unfair, you should be able to speak on it, especially here in America, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Exercising First Amendment rights, freedom of speech. Um, we should be able to at least have a conversation or a dialogue around it. But with this,
Especially for an organization like the NBA. This is
100%.
not like a regular, typical job where, they can hire anybody off the street or they can hire anybody who has a certain certifications or degrees. I mean, again, you're only going to find one of these stars every so often. Kyrie Irving he's a great player, and they can't just oust him like that for a belief. That's why they went the extra mile. Because I mean, he said a tweet. I think it took a few days. They was trying to get him to apologize, and again, he's a great caliber athlete. They was trying to get him to apologize, which, in my opinion, it looks like he went through several layers of apology, and it appears that they're still going. They're still trying to get more out of this situation. And at this point, I feel like now they're going a little bit too far with the situation. So, what his belief, and I would like to say, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I would like to say that I don't believe that he knew that was in the documentary. What got him in trouble, or what was weaponized in this attack against Kyrie Irving, was the fact that in this documentary it was stating that the Holocaust didn't happen, um, and he apologized for that. You know, I don't think anybody with a logical reasoning will support that information. We for one don't support the information. It doesn't sound like Kyrie support that information. So if it's words that you're trying to get out of his mouth and he's apologizing for the matter, why can't we just accept his apology and just move on? You know, uh, $500,000 or half a million, and then we want you to meet with the untouchables. Um, you know, what more do you want? And I think, yeah, he has said this in, I forgot the name of the gentleman that he spoke with in the interview, but it's almost like these individuals, and I'm gonna have to say it verbatimly. What you want me to do? Kiss your dick,
Right, right.
right? And so that's what it looks like. You want me to kiss your dick. Um, my only thing is I just kind of wish Kyrie Irving never apologized. Well, he could apologize for that particular matter,
So,
but for
to
his
be
belief
honest,
and his
why do you need to apologize for that? And let's keep it a buck. Just keeping it a buck. Who was actually hurt by that? Oh, Kyrie hurt millions of man. Get the fuck out of here! Like for real. So Dave Chappelle had a joke in one of his uh, recent stand-ups. I want to say it was called Bird something. I can't remember, but he was talking about of all the things to break white America, it was Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. He was like, if that's what broke the spirit of white America, then that's a brittle fucking spirit, right? If a
Hmm.
tweet, if an image of a documentary is enough to break the backs of a people, it's a brittle fucking spirit, right? All this
Right.
fake, all this fake outrage, right? They just don't want. I feel like they really just want to lay back in the cut and control things like they always have. And if anybody questions the amount of control or, uh, you know, tries to test the machine or push against the machine, they really rally the troops as far as the media outlets, and they create a witch hunt, which they have in Kyrie. You know, he's a byproduct of that particular system, which we'll touch on it in greater detail here in a bit, but it's to me it's
Yeah.
nowhere close to warranted, um, especially with the items that they're expressing that they want him to, these conditions that are necessary for him to go through in order to be reinstated. It's some BS.
I would like to make the difference. Not really trying to bring Colin Kaepernick into the mix, but you know, their defense was that Colin Kaepernick took a knee on the field during the national anthem. You know, well, Kyrie on his Twitter account, he just put that document out there. Hebrew to the Negroes, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
And it's this documentary is 3 hours long. So, I'm gonna be honest, I watched maybe the first 30, 45 minutes of it. First of all, it was information. Most of the information I already knew. So I really got bored. So I couldn't make it through and I apologize. But I don't know what point in this video where they were speaking about the Holocaust being fake. If anybody happens to have that information or know when that took
Timestamp.
place,
Give us
let
a
us know.
timestamp because I'm not watching that whole
Get
damn documentary.
Yeah, I can't watch that whole damn video. I'm
Yeah, I
not gonna
got better
lie,
things to do with
right?
my time.
So, so he took it down. He took the tweet down. He realized that hey, this caused harm. I mean, when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, he continued to take a knee. And so they ended up ousting him. They kicked him off the team and kicked him out of the NFL. Where Kyrie, this dude has apologized, and we still going. At this point, why are we having a conversation? You know, um, yeah, that's just where we at right now. And so, we're proving Ye's point. We proving Ye. I mean, they're actually proving Ye's point. The best thing they could have did is not really did anything in regards to the situation, but they keep picking. You know.
Yeah, and earlier you touched on Kyrie making the tweet and not having done the legwork to know exactly what was in the film. Uh, I don't find his tweet irresponsible. However, if he did not watch the documentary and just saw the title of it, or watched the first 35 minutes and was like, "Oh man, this is some good stuff. I'm gonna tweet it out," that I do find irresponsible, right?
Yeah.
So if that
Yeah.
was the case, you can issue a statement. Like personally, I'm over apologies in general, right? I do my best not to apologize, period, right? It's not a thing of, oh, I'm too good for whatever. It's more about whatever I did, I intended to do, right? Whatever backlash I may face it, but I intended to do it. Even if it hurts somebody's feelings or if it hurts someone in general, right?
Yeah.
I made a choice. I carried out an action. I followed through on a decision. I'll live with the consequences.
And I'm speaking to his body language when they tried to address the anti-Semitism in the video. You, I can kind of tell his body language, like, damn, I really fucked up on that one. Like, I didn't. I could just kind of tell his body language that he probably didn't take notice to that being part of the documentary, But who knows? Who knows? He took the tweet down. Um, Yeah, each action you have, you got to be careful because they do come with consequences. But
Yeah.
I just don't feel, I personally do not think this is warranted for this to drag on this long, you know.
Yeah, who
Um,
knows how long it's going to drag on, right? I don't know if Kyrie understood the ramifications of the tweet, right? I think he was fully aware and conscious of the decision to tweet out what he did, but the backlash, you can't really anticipate how extreme the reaction is going to be to something if you've not been in that scenario before. And Kyrie, he's an intelligent brother, right? He is a very
yeah, he speaks. He's very articulate. Yeah,
yeah, very articulate. And to be honest, I vibe with his spirit, right? I vibe with his intentions. I've not met him. I enjoy watching him play basketball. I've watched several of his interviews, and I vibe with who he is as an individual. So it's hard for me to believe that he was not consciously aware of what he delivered or the message behind the tweet, so to speak. But at the same time, um, yeah, the backlash is completely unwarranted. Now,
yeah.
when it comes down to it, the the community that really pushes the information, right? So also you got to keep in mind, like when somebody tweets something, how many people actually see the tweet, how many people actually read the tweet, and how what percentage of individuals are actually going to follow through and take a look at the the documentary. It's there's a large discrepancy there, and only a portion of the individuals who actually saw the tweet are actually going to take a look at the documentary. Plus, it's on Amazon. Unless you have a membership, it's going to cost you $12 to take a look at the documentary in and of itself. So the impact of the tweet was very minimal, but you got the media system, that machine that is going to continue to push these narratives and put this in, keep it in the spotlight.
I hate to. I don't
Red.
want to stop you like that, but
Yeah,
are
go
you
ahead.
noticing comments that's coming in on your end, guys? This is our first
Yeah,
episode,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we try to make sure we don't miss anything.
Well,
Uh, we
let
did
me
got
make sure.
two comments, so I'm not sure if you can see that on your end.
Yeah, I think it's
And it sounds like Jamela agrees with you. He had nothing to apologize about.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now I can see it on the screen, on my screen where we're
Okay,
broadcasting. Yeah,
okay. He had nothing to apologize for. The content wasn't his. He spoke up for something he believed in with regards to the movie. If they mad about the content, find the creator of the movie. Yep, just like Kanye, they want to make an example out of an influential, successful black man. Yeah, but
yeah.
you see Brett Favre
So
for less from less fortunate people, and he apologized for anything. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Um, anytime, uh, to be honest, I don't feel like there's anything more intimidating to the system than a strong black male, right? Anytime someone with that mode comes up, they do their best to beat the shit out of them, right? I saw an interview earlier, maybe it was
butt
last week,
breaking,
but they said that they're treating
modern day butt breaking. That's what I call it. Modern day butt breaking.
they're treating Kanye and Kyrie like Kunta Kinte, right? They're whipping him until they yell Toby, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially, they're trying to break the backs of who they identify to be the strongest in the community as far as
And can
those
you
of
hear me? Okay,
yeah,
I just want to make sure. Okay, so we're gonna classify it as modern day breaking. You got people who's really in their feelings. Oh, you're making comparison to butt breaking. Do you even really know what butt breaking is? Again? Modern day butt breaking. Okay, we a little bit more civilized than we were 100 years ago. We do things a little bit differently. We punish people, or the untouchables. They punish people a little bit differently, right? All right. Um, that leads us to the next topic regarding. Now, to be honest with you, the last time that I seen Amazon um, uh, being able to display or publish this information on their platform was this past week on Saturday. So if anybody, if it has been updated, I'm not sure, but There was no backlash from the Untouchables with Jeff Bezos or Amazon regarding this matter. Now, I mean, they didn't say anything. So if it was so pressing, if it was so traumatizing for these individuals, I mean, why didn't they press? I never once see anybody, not ESPN, uh, ESPN. I mean, these sports channels. I mean, any of these guys, LeBron James, Charles Barkley,
So yeah,
Stephen A. Smith. Nobody pressed Amazon or I mean Jeff Bezos and said, "Hey, you got to take this down." You know. Now, I will say this, and this is why they didn't press him. That's his fucking platform, and can't nobody tell him shit, right? And I'm pretty sure that Jeff Bezos, they all holding hands at the top, you know. Kyrie, working for clearly working for a organization. On top of that, being a black man, um, he does not have this same um, respect. I should say he does not have the same respect. Okay, so this is something that we need to look into as a people and say, hey, goddamn. So one individual can do something and get away with it, but we all can't do the same thing. But they're gonna result. They're gonna come down to, if it was a lawful thing, well, hey, that's his shit. That's their shit. They can do whatever
yeah.
they want. They can say whatever they want.
So
So
I agree with you there. Um, Kyrie tweeted out an image of the cover of a documentary that is being sold on Amazon. Yet Kyrie was the only one that was positioned and singled out as an anti-Semite, right? If it's such an issue, then hold everyone responsible, right? All the responsible
yeah,
parties need to be chastised if it's a real issue. That's how you know the issue's not real.
yeah. I don't know what happened.
That's thought I lost you
You
there
kind
for a
of cut
second.
out the
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we you cut out for a second.
yeah. That's essentially that's how you can tell that an issue's not real, right? It's fake backlash, fake outcry because they're not chastising all parties that are involved, right? And I like to kind of draw a bit of comparison to this situation, Kyrie, Amazon hosting, making things available for the masses to consume with no backlash in relation to the Ime Udoka Boston Celtics issue there, right? So, Ime Udoka was kind of criticized heavily, drugged through the mud publicly in reference to a relationship that he was having or relationships that he was having with the staff of the Boston Celtics in the Boston Celtics organization, right? Apparently, according to reports, he was piping a couple of the execs chicks, right? And this dude was seeing Nia Long. According to reports, they had already split or they were separated when all this stuff went down. But they literally drug Ime Udoka through the mud based upon the fact that he broke, and he has to be held accountable for this. He broke an organizational rule that says that you can't, as a head coach, you can't be involved with anyone else within the organization, right? And that type of interaction, which is that's cool. That's one thing, but that story was whistleblown by an individual who he was getting it in with, right? And so all the backlash came down on Ime Udoka, but no one wanted to expose or bring light to the individuals who were partaking in his activity, right? So there's more than one party that's responsible there, right? They aired all his laundry out. He's got all sorts of repair to do with his relationships. He was suspended for the entire year. He may not go back to coaching the Boston Celtics, and he may get blackballed from coaching in the NBA. Period. But the individuals who were also responsible because it takes two to have sex, right? Unless there's some other stuff going on, but it takes two and consent to have sex. They didn't bring light to any of the other parties, and those who tried to bring it up, they forced them to make public apologies.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, fake
Yeah.
outcry, and they're just
As we stated at the beginning of this live feed, we try to keep things as fair and as logical as possible. And clearly, this situation, just like the Kyrie situation, isn't treated fairly, right? Um, all these people are proving is that they are dictating what goes on their court or on their field. And, at this time, it seems to be, it always happens with these type of things, the social issues, it always happens to the black man, right? So it almost look like the field and the court resembles plantation, you know, and that's why they pressing the situation like specifically with Kyrie as a situation that looks like butt breaking, right? You take your very best and you show them anybody else that want to get out of line, you know, this is what we have for you.
right.
And hey, Jeff Bezos, I can't even speak too much to it because I still have yet to hear from the Untouchables regarding Jeff Bezos on this matter or Amazon,
Yeah,
the CEOs, the execs over there. The situation is not fair. But we know life isn't fair. They just proving that point.
yeah. So, yeah, real quick, I want to pause for some station identification. Joking, but I do need to bring to light that check Conceited Clothing out at conceited.com, on IG at conceited, KONNCEITED. All right, back to regular scheduled programming. Um, so there was a handful of media pundits and talking heads that really tried to expose Kanye, or not Kanye, but Kyrie when everything was going down. Shaq and Charles Barkley really uh, opened up their mouths and they dogged him. And they did this before he got suspended on, I think it's called NBA on TNT or whatever their show is, Game Day or whatever it
Yeah,
is. But they came out and suggested that the league was being soft on Kyrie and that he deserves to be suspended. They said he deserved to be suspended. And a handful of hours later, he gets suspended indefinitely, right? Which I find to be incredibly whack. Especially, hold on one second here. Let me, okay. I got a clip I want to bring up real quick. Let me know if you can hear this, Mike. I'm sure everybody else will be able to get the audio, but I want
yeah,
to make sure that you're able to react to this. Okay,
yeah,
here we go.
With a whole bunch of guys, and a lot of guys were coming in, and I can remember old timers saying, "If it's too good to be true, don't do it." So a lot of guys came in, yeah. They say you're gonna get 40 million on your first contract. You give me the 40 million, I can turn it into 200 million by the time you're 23. I was like, I don't like this guy. Another guy said the same thing, and then I met one little small, beautiful Jewish man who says, "I'm in the savings bonds. We're gonna put your money and, we're gonna start a subchapter S corporation from your family. So, all the stuff that you're doing, you can write it off." I was like, you know what? Shalom. Baruch Hashem. I'm going with you, sir. I got to get with a whole bunch of guys. And, a lot of guys were coming in. And I can remember old timers saying, if it's too good to be true, don't do it. So a lot of guys came in, yeah. They say you're gonna get 40 million on your first contract. You give me the 40 million, I can turn it into 200 million by the time you're 23. I was like,
is, well, hey, you know, this is how we are generating our bag. This is how we take care of our families. This is why we are where we are today. I get it. Not trying to show that away from you, but I got another logical way of thinking, right? Again, the NBA and the NFL, they need us. It's not they want us. They need us. So if one person just do it, that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? If you have got LeBron, Kyrie, and many other big name stars and the other little guys to say, you know what, we may not share the same belief, but guess what? That's my brother. He has the right to believe whatever he wants to believe, you know. But y'all not gonna do him like that. You know what? We all suspended. We all taking time off. How you think the NBA and the NFL, any organization that needs blacks, how you think they're gonna operate like that? You think somebody gonna tune in and watch these games at this point?
They're not.
That's how much
Um,
power we have. We have so much power. Not only do which is right, we need them, but guess what? They really need us on this level. But we have to work together for something to be effective. Again, we ain't gotta believe the same thing, okay? But you're not gonna pick on my brother like that because guess what? What if I want to say something that I believe in? Y'all gonna pick on me too? Or UConn? What if something like that? Let's say if we was in the league, you're gonna pick on him too because
right.
he's standing up for something he believe in. So when does that cycle end? Okay, that's the power of sticking together. When we stick together and nobody plays, and you got a bunch of other people that don't look like us on a court, I don't think nobody's really gonna watch that game. I think the ratings gonna really go down. I think they're gonna lose a lot of money, and I don't think they want to do that. So at that point in time, now they are forced to hear what we have to say. They truly understand our power of unity, and they're not going to touch us like that no more. Now, there could have been a different way of handling the Kyrie situation, you know, but how they doing it right here, it's not right. And like he was saying, he made a point proving that Shaq, we know where we, we know what's up.
Yeah. Shaq and
Doesn't take
Chuck,
an idiot to figure that out, you
100%.
know.
Um, yeah. I mean, it's really when it breaks down to it, when it comes down to it, it's kind of a silly situation. Um,
Yeah,
and I really feel, and Kyrie does have a lot of support. The majority of support that he has is not notable, so the media can
yeah,
still continue to make it seem as though he has no support, and it's just a world of backlash. But it really brings light to the issues that are affecting the community. And if
right,
they continue to keep this up, I really feel like we will end up galvanizing and organizing and standing in support in some way, shape, or form. The thing that is most troubling to me is the fact that the NBA really goes as LeBron James goes. Right? There's a couple pillars that they lean on. They lean on LeBron. They lean on Chris Paul. They lean on Dwayne Wade. Right? Um, Dwayne Wade's not even in the league anymore, and I still see headlines and articles about the choices that he's making for his son. Right? Just crazy shit. Um, and they're still using him as a puppet and a control mechanism for the black community. And I can't even say it's the black community as a whole because I know that more than just us digest NBA content, right? But they really are trying to set the pulse amongst the black community. They try and create that spark. Once we kind of take that flame and make it larger, everyone else kind of catches on. But
right.
they're really doing some detrimental stuff, and I really feel and we can take a look at there's evidence that corroborates this particular claim, but these niggas have sold out, right? They don't have an affinity for the black community as a whole, right? If Dwayne Wade really stood for what was right, would he be, taking his son through a sex change? I don't really, nah. That's just not, and we don't. I don't. Not to digress, but these niggas have already sold out. They're not standing like they asked LeBron what his stance was in reference to Kyrie, and he's like, he should have done this differently, blah 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 blah. I'm like, man, if you don't necessarily stand in opposition, but don't say anything, don't speak on it, right? You can say next question. That's a famous line used by many. Next question, or I plead the fifth if you're on, taking a stand. You don't have to speak on the issue, but based upon the fact that he has handlers and they're feeding him lines and he's bought and paid for, he's going to stand in opposition of what Kyrie is the ultimate truth that he's trying to put out. And it would be awesome if the league as a whole galvanized and said, nope, we're all, they took a knee for Black Lives Matter and they're like, no, we're not going to play these games. Actually stand up for something that means something and something that matters and it can actually have a positive effect on our community. But these niggas are too
Right.
selfish, man. And they're already bought and
Yeah.
paid for. So I don't
They
anticipate.
bought and paid for.
It's
Yeah,
clear. I mean, Stephen A. Smith. I'm not going to say what he said verbatimly, but basically he said, he admit that he believes that Kyrie Irving, he felt like his intentions was in the right place. He don't feel like he meant any ill will, but um, you know, he caused a lot of harm, right? He hurt a lot of people, and those come with consequences, especially for this organization. And what he has taught us or taught people who has this talent is how to fumble the bag or how to lose the bag. Again, it goes to show what really matters,
exactly.
right? So
He's like, you had an opportunity to make all this money and you spoke out or you bit the fingertips of the hand that
yeah,
feeds you and you lost this money. You're a dumbass for losing this money,
yeah,
right? When it comes down, like there's more important things in life than money, right? I think there's probably three things that are more important. Money gives you access to a lot of shit, and to be honest, I will. As a man, I feel that I would make the same stance that Kyrie Irving did. But being in that position, he's got a lot of stuff to weigh. So I applaud him for his stance, and the position that he took is going to affect him long term. We don't know if he'll be able to play in the NBA again, right? That's
yeah,
a real legitimate question. I don't know if he thought that by posting that tweet that he may be out of a job permanently, but
yeah,
his livelihood is going to change as a result of this. And so that's something that he
yeah,
has to consider. That's ultimately, he's got, investments and companies and foundations that he's doing really good
yeah.
work with. So I'm sure he'll be okay. But at the same time, that is something that he has to consider.
Yeah,
And
when you do things like this, I mean, the only thing that I would take away is that we all have to realize is that we are on their turf or we on their platform, and you know, when we do these things, we have to weigh the pros and cons. We can't just go out on faith like that. You can if you want. It will be respected. I personally want you to have a plan when you do these things. I don't want this ain't just entertainment. Some of these people see this as entertainment. I see this as a movement. And within this movement, I don't want us to make the same mistake that Michael X and Martin Luther King did. I mean, they went out on faith and they went out with a movement, but they didn't have a plan for themselves or their family, you know. And I just want us to have a plan B. And just like with Ye, it just seemed like when he did what he did, he didn't have a plan B. So a lot of people see Kanye or Ye being arrogant in what they did. Well, Ye was more so arrogant They saying Kyrie was speaking as if he's more intelligent and more woke than anybody, right? It's that sissy shit that they was getting at. And but when you act in these manners, you got to show how woke you are, how intelligent you are, how much of a genius you are. Like, hey, Adidas can kick me out all they want, but guess what? I'm still a billionaire. Guess what I did in the background? Oh my God, I would have loved that so much more. But now it's like, man, yeah, you did that, and it's almost like jumping off a mountain. It's like you're testing God's, you're testing God at that point. What they say, um, you're tempting God. You're tempting God in this manner. It's like jumping off a mountain. Now it's not entirely, hopefully when he jumped off this mountain, he developed some wings along the way. With Ye, they pulling his shoes. They're pulling his shoes. Stores, TJ Maxx, all these stores is pulling his product off the shelves. You
Mhm.
know, and so you're losing partnership with a lot of people. I do understand that he does have allies, but don't make enemies with those you don't need to be enemy with. I would say be very precise with your words. Be very precise. We don't leave open-ended um, comments like this to where a lot of people can interpret.
So I
I feel like
mean,
that Hebrew, I
I
feel like that
agree.
documentary could be interpreted, and it was interpreted as and like I said, the Nazi situation was weaponized to really demonize Kyrie. You
So
know,
I agree with you to a point, but it really doesn't matter because um, you know, regardless of how carefully you construct a sentence, the machine can create a narrative to counter that, right? If I say, no, I agree with everything, the sky is blue, they're going to create a narrative that says, no, he disagrees with everything, and that he said the sky is purple, right? And there's footage and documentation of me saying, no, I agree with everything, the sky is blue, but just based upon the fact that they have the machine behind them and they can run that news cycle 24/7, most people are not going to do their homework. They're just going to digest what they see and regurgitate narratives, right? So
yeah.
it's almost you're fighting an uphill battle regardless, right? So I feel
So I feel what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but Ye nor Kyrie done that to prove that point, right? So Kyrie could have just simply came out and said, "Hey, I believe, my faith and belief is stating that I am a true Hebrew Israelite," right? Without having to tweet that, he could have just said it in his Twitter. And then, for example, Yay, I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews or whatever. You give them you're allowing them to weaponize those things when I mean, us with common sense, we know what they were really saying, right? But we don't give them ammo.
so I feel
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Kanye's situation is a little bit different than Kyrie's, right? Because Kyrie just made this tweet. Kanye, yay, has been going through it for years, right?
Yeah,
He's made mention of these things on a smaller scale, but and if you listen to him, he states exactly why he's going about it the way he does, because going against the machine in this capacity, like you take a look, like anyone who's really spoken against a machine, they'll kill, right? They'll suicide, right?
right.
And Kanye is trying to hedge his bet and leverage the information he has by exposing and calling out the group by name so he has a little bit of safety and assurances. If he gets knocked off right now, everybody's going to point back and say it was the Jews, right? Excuse me, or the Untouchables.
Yeah,
I think he's creating a bit of a safety net and a barrier for him to be able to actually have the dialogue and continue to speak and press and fight against the machine, as it were. Could be wrong,
right.
but
And
that's
a lot of people, a lot of people who've seen the tweet, um, they get hyped up with the shock value stuff that Kanye West, but they don't never take time to actually listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, it's all
They
about the
didn't
love
watch none of his
bombs.
interviews. Say what?
I said it's all about the love bombs and slaps.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a side joke, everybody. He's acting like a narcissistic boyfriend, But yeah. But yeah, man.
So let's shift gears a little bit. And so we're both familiar with the sect of individuals that classify themselves as Hebrew Israelites. Um, my mom told me this 15, 18 years ago. She said that you can't have a vicarious relationship with God, right? I can't have a relationship with God based upon the fact that my mom had a good relationship with God, right? If I don't make an effort to get to know the Creator, then I'm putting myself at a disadvantage based upon the fact that I'm not scratching the surface of information that I could obtain, right? And so over the course of my early 20s, I went on a heavy spiritual journey in search of the truth. One of the paths that I was led down, I did come across the information for the Hebrew Israelites. I feel like, Mike, your experience was a little bit more in depth and detail. You probably have a little bit more knowledge uh, than myself in reference to what they actually stand for. So let's dive into this aspect of what the possibilities of the information that Kyrie was putting out. So what's the relevancy to the community in reference to the Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah. So with Kyrie, he's just basically stating that you know he feels that the black people here in America, are one of the lost tribes of the house of Israel. So there's 12 tribes in the house of Israel, black or African Americans being one of the 12, specifically the tribe of Judah.
Okay.
Yeah. So um, there's a lot of things that happen in real history that resembles what's been stated in the Bible, slavery, being in bondage for 400 years, um, and then now all of a sudden, you have the most famous scripture that the Hebrew Israelite uses, those who say they are Jews, but they're not, but they are synagogues of Satan, you
Yeah.
know,
Synagogue Satan.
um, synagogues of Satan. Yeah, exactly. And so there is some comparison to use. Again, these things, I mean, the Bible, it's a great storyteller. It's a great storyteller. I went like he was saying, he went down this walk, uh, looking for the truth or gaining truth and knowledge. 10, 12 years ago, I was in the same boat. We're almost the same age. Same thing for me. This was over 11 years ago. And I was once claiming to be Hebrew Israelite. But unfortunately, I felt like I kind of mature in a sense, mentally, spiritually. I'm no longer stating that, but I'm also not going to condemn anybody for their beliefs. Okay. I can see why you would still believe that. It's fine, you know. But even with me shifting my gears spiritually, I can still I still can't find a reason to believe that, according to the Bible, because I don't know much of the Torah, um, the history and everything that's went on, why, anybody would still fall in that faith and belief of being a Hebrew Israelite. Because I mean, honestly, I don't in the Bible, I'm not, I mean, if someone wants to show me the scriptures, it's really bad. It's egregious of what happened to the now known Jewish society dealing with the Holocaust, what Hitler did, but there's no mention of anything like that happening in the Bible um, at all.
So
And then in history, I'm just I searched low and high, and I cannot find any findings of these Jewish members being slaves or being in bondage or anything like that. Just to be honest with you, I don't put and just being. I'm just using my observation. I'm being real authentic. They don't have the physical capability to really be a good contributor of being a slave. You know.
So,
Um,
who are you making reference
but
to
go
when you
ahead.
say
Say
who
it
are you,
again.
who are you making reference to when you say that?
Which part you're referring to? Because I said a
So you
lot
said
there.
that they the last portion where you said they didn't exhibit essentially the characteristics of being slaves. Essentially,
So,
speaking of,
how many? How,
are you
how
speaking of
many? How
people?
many? Yeah, yeah. And so, let's use the pyramids for one example, right? I mean, these pyramids, these bricks don't look light, right? It's hot. It's really hot. What is needed is very demanding, physically demanding.
Yeah,
I feel like you need some strong brothers or some strong individuals in general to be moving this type of weight. Okay. I never seen, and I could be ignorant about this. It's just not known for Jewish people to be athletic or um, uh, to be
yeah.
athletic or to be well known when it comes to physical demanding things, let alone being a slave. Okay. Just being real, just being honest. I mean, but they are very intelligent people, and I'm not trying to say blacks are ignorant or stupid, but they are very intelligent people. That's why they're at they're known to be executives, and they have a lot of wealth and all this blah blah blah. But just being honest, that's just one aspect to examine. You
And
know,
that's something that Kanye dove into as well. He said, and I don't think it has anything to do with intelligence at all because the black community as a whole, black Americans or Americans in general, as far as melanated individuals, very intelligent, right? It's just about the fact that
I
we
don't
have
I don't
not,
think so. We can go off on a tangent. But I don't think so. I think we dumb motherfuckers.
nah. So
I
we're
think we're
very,
extremely stupid as a
nah.
whole.
So again, there's, and I don't want to divide people like this, but just keeping it a buck, there's a difference between us, right? There's people that are on the rah rah shit, and then there's you know good citizens and good examples of what to strive to be, what to strive towards. We've got scholars, scientists, engineers, IT specialists, whatever sector. There's individuals that have done it at an extraordinarily high level, right? They don't put that shit in front of us because they want us to aspire towards the dumb shit and the low vibrational shit,
Yeah.
right?
So what matters in the real world is the majority. So we got a bunch of
Well,
one-offs. We definitely
I wouldn't. It's not
made
even
some
one off.
stamps in history.
There's as a whole as of right now. So this is kind of the post that I'm getting. Right, there are more sensible black folk in America, but the dumb shit just makes more noise.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
Um,
rah rah shit. I mean, we kind of talked about that. You're referring to like the drill music, the trap music, shit like
right.
that. Yeah, we talked about that whenever it was last week, right? But then you got the people who have sense. They don't really involve themselves with the rah rah stuff. But when we talk about politics and we talk about things like this, the mind is still enslaved. There's layers,
Again.
So
Right.
you
So. Uh, and I'll ask you this question, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, but it's to make a point. So taking a look at the Matrix, when Morpheus took Neo out of the system, right? He told Neo that there's a bunch of motherfuckers that are still asleep, right? And they're trying to wake up more people, but Morpheus said they're not ready. He didn't call them idiots because they're still plugged in, right? They're just
I
not
got
ready.
you.
They're just not ready. And so the higher we can collectively raise our vibration, the more people will start to wake up. and get hip to the bullshit that the far left liberal globalist media, the globalist agenda in general, is setting us up for, right?
Yeah.
And the shit is kind of happening relatively quick. We saw a large faction of individuals going into 2020, uh, take heed of the information that was being put out, but more so than the intelligence, and this is a part of it as well. The
You know what, Ben? You know what you call? I'm gonna be the big man, and I'm going to apologize. I'm going to apologize to those that are hurt. With me saying that majority of the blacks are ignorant and stupid. And you know what? I'm just gonna say that you're not ready. You're just not ready for this information. You're not ready. So I'm going to apologize. I'm just gonna say, hey, you're not ready.
it's as simple and as complex as that. But yeah, when it comes down to it, these individuals they started to wake up, but the difference between the untouchable community and, well, I'll say this: the difference between our community and every other community is the fact that every other community is willing to work together, right?
Yeah.
The biggest disparity is the fact that the untouchables make a great portion of their wealth profiting off of the exploitation and death in the black community.
Right.
Hands down, nobody can argue that shit. There's facts, paperwork, receipts, whatever, right? And
Right.
even if they were to stop profiting from it, the programming is so heavy that we still be killing each other for years until
Right.
everyone fully wakes up. So we have that aspect, and then
You don't even need everyone. We just need a majority. We
we
don't, you
need
know.
we need to organize, right? Whenever
Yeah.
one untouchable makes money, all the untouchables make money, right? So we need to
Yeah.
set ourselves up in an intelligent way, a savvy, efficient way, to where we can all start eating, and we all
Right.
come together until we have some sense of unity. And it always seems, I swear to God, this shit pisses me off. Since for the last 70 years or so, like we've been dependent upon one particular figure to lead the black community. Motherfuckers aren't willing to wake up on their own and just lead themselves in the right way. We have to go by the pulse of one individual. They end up killing that one individual, but even in those particular instances, there's always a fucking sellout. Fucking Al Sharpton had been taking money on the low for forever. This shit is documented. CIA documents. There's individuals who were involved in the mob that talked about the payouts and things that he was getting. This shit is on wax, and motherfuckers still listen to him, right? Any incident, let George Floyd, reincarnate and die again. He's gonna be the first one on scene with a camera in his face, right? And niggas still
Yeah.
trust him. We gotta wake up from that shit.
Yeah.
We gotta organize.
Unity. It's going to be really hard to break away from our belief system, religion. Uh, but we have a responsibility to, back someone who look like us
I don't
up.
know.
Okay.
We gotta make sure
It should be our number one responsibility. Now, obviously, there's obvious reasons. If you in the wrong, you just in the wrong. Okay. But we have a responsibility to ourselves because ain't nobody else gonna do it. Nobody else is gonna do it for us to support one another. Okay. That should be our number one responsibility. No matter what the belief is. Okay. If you're a Christian and you want to stand on your belief, but you got an untouchable, you got white supremacists, you got somebody trying to shake you down and try to strip you down and try to butt break you. It's my responsibility to come and support you, and to come help defend you. That's on my heart. Until we develop that, we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in this situation for a long time, for
so
a
those.
long while.
I agree with you. And who knows? Who knows what the timeline is? But we got to start waking up, and we have to start holding ourselves accountable first, and then looking towards and making corrections in reference to our brothers and sisters. Um,
Yeah.
Kanye brought up a good point, and this is one thing I wanted to run past you. But Kanye talks about the relevance of history. Like they do their best to put a slave movie in front of us at least once a year, right? It'll
Yeah.
be critically acclaimed. It's the greatest slave movie since the last slave movie we put out, right? Um, and Kanye makes a point of saying, you know, why are we continuing to look into history, right? All they show us is slave shit. Let's look to curate the future,
It's
right?
to keep the frequency low. That's
So
simple.
I understand that, but in the whole topic of Hebrew Israelites and spiritual alignment or positioning, I'll say biblical positioning with the promised land and the chosen people, does it really fucking matter? Right? Is that helping our situation here right now? Or is it got
Yeah.
us in further confusion and disarray?
Yeah.
Right? I feel like
Yeah.
as a people, as a whole, we gotta move forward and look to building a more stable future for our young ones.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know. Um, Again, some things we have to stay within reality, right? There's things that we believe in that we do not understand and that we don't see. It's not really tangible, you know. So we have to mature, our minds have to mature, we have to raise our frequency to understand. And I want to say that we all human beings, we all derive from the same parents, most of us at least. We all one people, you know. We were speaking about this earlier, where my phenotype, my physical self, you see a black man looking at you, you see a black man. And that's what the world sees too. You know, when you get pulled over, they're going to identify you as being black, but we can't see who your ancestors really were. You know what I'm saying? Just because you look black don't mean that you don't got a white individual, or white great great grandfather, or Asian great great grandmother. You know, we don't know what you mixed up with until you do some ancestry.com or whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we all one people, you know. But the world sees us for what our skin color looks like. So unfortunately, we have to learn to protect one another and put ourselves first. With that being said, because nobody else is going to do that, you know. And it's really a beautiful thing. I mean, with Martin Luther King is really a beautiful thing when other people who don't look like you also stand up beside you and protect you as well. You know, because they human at heart. They not, you know, they understand this is just a skin. It's just skin. You know, it's like, again, I always say it's like kids playing with crayons and fighting over crayons and shit. That's what it is. Kids fighting over goddamn crayons. This is my crayon. It's the best crayon. I'm going to color my picture with the you know, with the black crayon here. You take the white one. Well, I want your black crayon. You know. And so we got to mature as a people, man, and get past beliefs. Beliefs ain't gonna go nowhere, you know. But we should have a responsibility over one another when someone's in the wrong, for sure. You know. For example, let's say that one thing that gets everybody stirred up is seeing a black man getting beat to shit, he getting his ass whooped by a cop. You know, we don't know what he believes in. We don't know his background. We just see a black man getting his ass whipped. You know, as traumatizing that as is, we have to keep that same attitude when somebody's trying to stand up for themselves.
Hmm.
You know, so who cares what his belief? Like if Kyrie was that same black man who was getting his ass whooped by officers, it'll be a whole different topic of conversation. So because you don't want to believe you're a Hebrew Israelite, you don't want to take that walk. You want to ask them like that. You see how I just made that comparison. It would be a different story if it was white cops beating his ass. But you gotta understand that these executives, these untouchables, they don't look like you.
They
They get to
don't.
do whatever you want. You know, they get to do whatever they want. Adam Silver and all of them because they are who they are,
You
and they
got to
know who you
understand,
are.
but it's the same powers behind the throne. There's no difference. They may plug in a narrative for certain individuals to chirp in the NBA, but these are the same motherfuckers that have the power to write the script that's seen on the teleprompter that's broadcasted on CNN. Right? It's the same motherfuckers. It's no different. So we have to be
Yeah,
wise enough to be able to see through that shit. We got to use logic and reason and leave our emotions on the doorstep.
yeah. For one, guys, we gotta learn as a majority of us. Again, I don't expect everybody to be ready. I'm gonna say right. I don't expect everybody to be ready. We got to learn to step back and read everything. Don't just get caught up in the hype. Stand down, relax, step back, give the person to speak, and observe everything, or else you're reading headlines, and headlines is emotional. It doesn't come from. It comes. There's a reason why there's titles and headlines and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and they use certain copy and copy formats to generate an emotional response within you, and they know how your programming works because they programmed your ass, right? And so they
Yeah,
know what button to press to get the exact reaction that they want from you. So the only way to really usurp control is to stop fucking reacting, right? Uh,
chill. What's that
right?
one
Pull back
video?
for a second. And the thing
Yeah,
is that regardless of the color of an individual, um, or if we like them or not, there may be some information that we could pull from them, right? You never want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, right?
right.
Not every individual you need to perfectly in line with. Mike and I, we don't see eye to eye or get along on every topic. Like we have spirited debates in reference to a lot of different issues, but at the same time, regardless of what his to it, because there's something I can learn from it. There might be something I can pull away from it. I'm like, yeah, I don't necessarily agree holistically, but you're right about that. You're spot on in reference to that. So, in
Yeah,
reference to the individuals that they put in front of us, we have to take that exact same mindset and utilize it to allow ourselves to make better decisions to better our community as a whole. Got to back away
exactly.
from the emotions of it, disconnect for a second, and if it warrants an emotional response, then plug back in and do what you must. But the
Yeah.
majority of it doesn't require an emotional response, but they have you plugged into the system and they know how to get you. They know how to
And I
get you.
always say I'm also disappointed with the men. I can't really be too mad at women. It's kind of expected of women, or ladies, whatever. But the men, it's ridiculous, you know.
So you bring up a good point, and I know that we weren't really going to touch on this until next week or maybe the week after, but um, the untouchables in that community. First, you have to understand that Hollywood does not sleep. They're working on a movie now. They'll put out a movie tomorrow. They'll start another movie the day after. Right? It's a machine,
Yeah,
and so it's constantly running. They're constantly putting out programming, and don't shortchange what's taking place. It's 100% programming, right?
yeah,
I was thinking about this on the way up to the office, but the way they gave us Black Panther, right? And a lot of people were trumpeting Black Panther as, oh yeah, they gave us a black superhero, right? But I was analyzing the scenes of the film in my head on the way over, and they did everything to make T'Challa look like a fucking bitch. They really did, right? They allowed not only that, but T'Challa, his father. I might be getting the name skewed. I think T'Chaka was his father. T'Challa was the son. But you know, they still echoed the single parent home stereotype, right? First, you got King T'Challa, right? And then he gets involved in a scandal and is, shamed, so to speak, from the standpoint of a son. He ends up dying in what some would call somewhat of a weak fashion, or his legacy was real weak. Even when T'Chaka went to visit him in the ancestral plane, he was like, "Oh, son, come join me. It's time for you to leave the real world and come join me, and we'll sit on this tree and chill out." Right? They still portrayed him in a less than stellar light. Then we we come to a point where, and I love a black women, right? The community really doesn't move without them, but we move in lockstep together, right? Every time they put something out, they're always trying to elevate black women over black men, right? And we got the Wakanda Forever film that's getting ready to come out, and when it comes down to it, I really feel like it's going to be a fuck to
We're
chop
gonna recap. We're
narrative.
gonna recap on that once we watch the movie and
I just
see, because Disney's starting to become woke
Disney.
infested. It's
Say
becoming
that
woke
again.
infested.
Well,
Disney is becoming woke infested.
yeah.
Okay. I'm a big Marvel, DC comic book fan, and I'm now becoming a big fan of DC, and I really hope they come through and come through right, and just entertain the viewers. Don't give us no agendas, you know. Again, like you said, I appreciate um all forms of superheroes, but it's clear when there's agendas being put in front of us, and Disney is becoming way too well infested, and it's leading to where I can't even enjoy the goddamn these movies anymore. You know,
Man, the last
so
the last film I was on board with, or when I got off board, was that last Thor. Man, I was like, this shit is.
oh yeah, yeah, we went to go see that together. Again, let's not get too far off topic, but my mom, just like I'm gonna share this. We'll get on that one day. Probably the week after next week, because Wakanda Forever, I think it's booked out. It's like we ain't getting in this weekend to see that. But anyways, my mom, she texted me and she liked Thor. She liked Thor one. She was in love with Thor one, and I think I'm not sure if she's seen Thor two. She said Thor three was okay, and this Thor came out some months ago, so she hasn't seen it yet. And she wrote me a couple of days ago, and she said, "What the hell is this?" She said, "I had to turn it off. I can't finish this." Oh man. So that's how bad it is. Okay.
It was
It's
horrible.
too woke and fast. It's a joke. They're
Well,
going
they
downhill
changed.
in my opinion. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll touch on the reviews of certain films and shit like that later on down the road and react to it. But long story short, we just gotta make sure that we're aware of the tactics of the media that are used to divide the people. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, in reference to Kyrie versus the Untouchables, or the racial division that they promote, is real low vibrational shit, right? Stuff that we really don't need to focus on. As a whole, we need to continue to work on bettering ourselves and bringing ourselves up, boosting and securing our family, our finances, and being able to secure the legacy of our family and generations to come. Arguing over if is left or is left right is not really going to get us anywhere. So we have to take heed of the programming, the tactics that are used, media, division, pandering, politics as a whole. And we need to come together as a people and make sure that we're securing the livelihood of the
Yeah.
generations to come.
Yep. Also, I think we're going to close out here. So this is also being broadcasted live on YouTube. Um, we're going to continue to do this as well.
100%.
So yeah, he just posted the link, and yeah, let's build together, guys. Let's do this. You know,
100%.
um,
So, going forward, we're either going to go live on Wednesdays or Thursdays, depending upon our schedule availability. Roughly around the same time, we got on at 8:30 today. Going forward, we'll probably try and launch a little bit earlier.
Eastern time,
Yeah, Eastern time,
8:30
Eastern
Eastern
Standard
time.
Time.
Yeah,
So we either do 8:30 or 8 o'clock. We'll come with some fresh content. Definitely bring your opinions, your thinking hats. Be ready to interact with us, and we'll bring people on and just discuss the topics at B for the given point in time. Again, this podcast is brought to you by Thoughts Force.
no, I don't. No, I don't. Not at this time. I also want to. We're going to pretty much touch on a lot of things. Even like fitness. Everybody knows that that's what I do. Bodybuilding and stuff like that. So,
Correction.
it's,
Everyone knows that's what we do. Trying to
that's what
leave
we
me out?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Nah,
yeah,
we gotta
yeah.
show proper respect and love to the body as a whole. Strong body, strong mind, strong. We gotta be
It's not just the body, mind, body, and spirit.
100%.
Yeah.
One
So
hundred percent. So, to those who will catch this broadcast a little bit later, we definitely appreciate your viewership. Feel free to leave comments. We'll get back with you as soon as we can. Again, catch us on YouTube at Generally Speaking. We'll post the link for the lives going forward, more than likely anywhere between 24 and 48 hours in advance. And we're actually working on creating a page for Facebook specifically for this, so you guys will be able to follow our journey there. Until next time, guys, keep it real, keep it
good
righteous,
night.
keep it relevant. Until next time, take care.
Take care.